I'm Sharifa George, Public Relations Coordinator of the Antigua Public Utilities Authority, and welcome to Necessary Conversations with APUA. Here is where we have topical discussions about matters that impact you, our customers. Ever so often, you hear terms like feeder or distribution main, fiber optics, ADSL, but what do these terms really mean? Experts from all three business units will be joining us to explain these common terms. And so we're going to begin with electricity. Joining us right now is linesman within the APUA Electricity Business Unit, Mr. Andre Grigg. Welcome to Necessary Conversations, Andre.
Morning, thank you.
How are you doing?
Fine.
That's great. So, customarily, we like to ask our guests to share with us a story, something memorable that would have happened on the job. And in this case, it would be something where terms got mixed up and you had to resolve an issue with these conditions to help that customer get an issue solved. So what exactly is your story?
Well, customers getting terms mixed up is something that happens quite frequently. I can remember as close as a few weeks ago, a report was made by a customer in the Cades Bay area of 2 wires hanging low, affecting the traffic. So we responded to that report. When we got there, we realized it wasn't necessarily a power wire. It was 2 wires, a telephone and a cable wire. But they were low enough that they were affecting the traffic. So we still went ahead and pulled up these 2 wires to enable the traffic to continue flow freely.
Okay, so that customer is really happy they got that resolved.
Yes, certainly. The customers are always happy to get in their problems solved.
That's very true.
Yes.
So I think the best way to explain the terms in electricity is to really start from the beginning of the distribution network, where power gets distributed from to the point of contact where the customer can actually enjoy the service. So for electricity, I want you to explain to me what is a 69 kV.
Okay, the simplest way I can use to explain the 69 kV, that's the silver metal towers that would leave from the generations, and then it would then make its way onto those towers to its route through the closest substation or to whatever substation it is.
Which is actually my next question. What is a substation?
The substation is where you have the 69 tower, the 69 kV coming in, and then day's weight is then reduced through the process of a transformer, station transformer, from 69 kV to 11 kV.
So a transformer is what changes the voltage of electricity. So
yes.
Is the transformer only at the substation, or are there transformers in other parts of the network?
Yes, there are other transformers as well on the network. You have 2 other types of transformers. You have pole-mounted transformers, and you also have pad-mounted transformers.
What's the difference?
The difference is the pole-mounted transformer usually attached to the pole. That's the grayish circular cylinder that's mostly positioned at the midpoint of the pole. The pad mount now, on the other hand, now that's when we feed, but that's when we take instead now the high voltage to the customer, and then the pad mount now would then reduce it, and that would be mostly on the customer's side, rather than being an APUA side of it.
Okay. I know during the storm, when we're communicating to customers what areas we're in or what areas have been de-energized, we use the word feeder. What exactly is a feeder?
Okay, the best way I could use to describe a feeder, it's similar to a simple circuit, but only with larger electricity or power, if you must say. That's where the power leaves the substation at the 11 kV stage, and then is then placed on the distribution line, which then travels its route to the length and breadth of the island. And you can have a situation where you have more than one feeder energizing an area. An example of that is like in St. John's. You have 3 different feeders feeding St. John's at any given point in time. That also happens in a portion of Crosby's, where you have 2 different feeders feeding 2 different sections of Crosby's. So you may find a situation where, whatever reason may be, like whether it be maintenance is being carried out, or you may have a section of the feeder that may be out, or entire feeder may be out. So you may realize that an area is energized, and another area is out of power, simply because it's on a different feeder.
But what about isolation? Because sometimes you would be in a situation like that where you don't have power but your neighbor does, and you're told when you call the information center that your area is isolated. What does that mean, and how do you isolate an area?
Okay. What happens, right, from time to time, you may have a particular area on a feeder that has an issue, whether it be for maintenance or, for instance, you may have a vehicle accident and you may have to de-energize a particular section of the feeder rather than de-energizing the entire feeder.
So not everybody's inconvenienced.
No. So what you do, you would we have cutouts placed in the line where we could go and we can de-energize a certain portion of the feeder so that you can then go and execute your maintenance or whatever have you.
That's when you use the hot stick and you...
Yeah, actually in that case, the hot stick is mostly used to de-energize transformers. When you're going to burst a bigger section which you have a higher voltage, you would then use a tool that we refer to as a load buster that has load breaking capabilities that you can then sectionize the feeder without getting much of a flashover. You would not want to use a hot stick in that situation.
Okay. That's good to know. Trust that I will not be using a hot stick anytime soon.
All right. Leave that for the professionals.
I definitely, and I hope our viewers will as well.
All right.
But thank you so much for Andre. I learned so much, and I hope our viewers have learned so much as well about the terms that we hear in electricity. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. No problem.
Next will be another necessary conversation about common terms used within the water business unit. Thank you so much for joining us, and stay safe until next time.